Hello, so welcome to question 4. Tony sells biscuits at school for 15 rands per packet. He rents a small store at school. He rents a small store at school for 200 rands per week and buys biscuits in bulk at a cost of 5 rand per packet. So this is paying like 200 rand for the week, and he orders bulk at cost of 5 rand per packet. He formulated income and expense equations and drew graphs to assist him determine the break-even point for his business, the expenses and the income. Right. Let's read our graph. Okay, so income and expenses of biscuits sales. This is the income and this is the number of packets. So for expenses, when he hasn't bought anything, he pays rent for 200 rand. And for income, when he hasn't sold anything, he doesn't make anything. And once he's bought 5, he'll pay 200 rand, 200 and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 220, somewhere there, 210, somewhere there. And for 20 packets, he'll pay 300 rand. He'll make no profit, no income, because 300 minus 300 will give us 0. And for 25 packets, he'll make more than 300 rand. The income here is above the expense, so he starts to make profit over here. Use the graph to determine the value of dependent at the break-even point. Okay, so when I'm looking at the graph, first of all, I know that the independent is here and the dependent is here. So the income is the dependent variable. And then at the break-even point, income, the value is 300. Use the graph or otherwise to determine the profit made in a week given the sales indicated below. Friday was a holiday and there was no school. On Monday he sold 5 packets, on Tuesday he sold 10, on Wednesday he sold 7, and on Thursday he sold 15. So in that week he sold a total packets of 5 plus 10 plus 7 plus 15. In total, he sold 37 packets. Right? And then now we're going to calculate the income. We're going to find the expense. Okay. So the income for 37 packets, that's 35. I can't read it properly from the graph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make calculations. We calculate the income. They said we can decide which one we want to use. Income will be 15 rand times n, which is equal to 15 rand times 37, and that gives us 555. And the expense there, the formula for expense is 200 rand, which is the rent plus the cost 5 times n, and therefore 200 plus 5 times 37, and that would be 200 plus 5 times 37, which will then equal to 185 rands. And if you add the 2, that will be 385, and his profit for the week will be 555 minus 385, and he made 170 rands for that week as the profit. It says we must calculate the profit, right? So they didn't give us the income or the expense. We have to find it either by calculations or from the graph, and then minus the 2 and get 170. Okay, so I didn't do the calculations. Let me do the calculations here. Profit is equal to income minus expenses. So our profit will be 555 minus 385, and that will be 170 rands.